So Vandy got their first win today, or for the season in overtime, and had their first sellout since 2017. Too bad half the stadium is under construction. Boom, roasted. Emma took care of business against Western Kentucky, winning 63-0. Congrats, you found someone with less teeth than you to beat up on. Boom, roasted.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Sleepy Dads podcast. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you will notice that we are missing one host. It is myself and Brandon here. Unfortunately, Eric's internet connection from last episode had dropped off and he's still trying to work back, getting back into this call. So his internet has let him down and it's unfortunate because we lost a good host. But with that being said, our fake ad read of the week this week is brought to you by Starlink. Tired of buffering videos, laggy video calls, and endless loading screens? Tired of your podcast buffering right when it gets good and losing connection? Starlink, the satellite internet solution that's bringing high-speed connectivity to every corner of the globe, is here for you. Whether you're trying to record a podcast like Eric was last week, trying to get your kids set up to watch Bluey on a long road trip, like Brandon knows, he just went to Augusta this weekend. He knows how that feels. Starlink's constellation of low-orbit satellites ensures you'll always be connected. Stream your favorite shows like Bluey, conquer your video games, get on a podcast, and record with no issues at all. Make sure you sign up for Starlink. Use promo code GetEricBackOnThePod20 to receive 20% off your first order at Starlink.
T's and P's to Eric.
Yeah, T's and P's to Eric, man. All right. No, but seriously, Eric came down with something. I think he probably caught whatever Hadley had last week. So thoughts and prayers to Eric because he's recovering. He's in bed. He's bedridden for this whole weekend. So it's just going to be me and Brandon riding solo today. Before we get in, go ahead.
Putting the pod on our back.
Putting the pod on our back. Nothing we're not used to already, Brandon. Eric's gonna listen to this podcast and be like, these guys suck.
Hey, we'll find out if he listens.
Yeah, we'll find out exactly.
I'm sure we'll hear.
Yeah, this podcast is just gonna be a roast of Eric this whole time. Just
yeah.
So before we get into it, let's go and get the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Thank you to everybody who subscribed to the pod so far. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button. As I mentioned last week, 81% of our viewers on YouTube are not subscribed to the pod. All it takes is 2 seconds to hit that little bell button while you're watching the video to support the Sleepy Dads. Every subscription and every subscribe button hit helps us out. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. All right, let's get into it, Brandon. So I know last week we left off the podcast talking about our fantasy football draft because it was that night. So now that we're a week removed, how are you feeling about your team? For those who don't want to hear about the fantasy football talk, you guys can go to fast forward. I'll have the chapters in the episode. But go ahead, Brandon. How are you feeling about your team a week later?
I know everybody wants to hear about other people's fantasy football, but that's what we're going to talk about because Anish and I definitely love fantasy football. We love the draft, and I feel good about my team. I felt good about it when I drafted it. I still feel good about it, but Yahoo did not feel good about my draft, and they gave me an F. I don't even think I've ever seen an F given out in our draft scores, but that's just bulletin board material for my team. We're gonna have it up all year, and we'll come back to this. Bookmark this, you guys out there in the podosphere, and we'll see if the F really played out.
Yeah, the F. I don't think I've ever seen an F given out on Yahoo, but
it felt personal.
It did feel personal. It felt very personal. But honestly, Brandon, you live in the waiver wires in the trade market. That's where you live waivers, in fantasy football.
I love trades. I love it all. I was born to be a fake team GM.
Yeah. You and me are probably the most active when it comes to trading and making moves. So to give people just a little bit, if you're still listening to this part for some reason, maybe there's some other sleepy dads out there that are just trying to get that fantasy football fix in as well. See if there's other dads out there seeing the same struggles they are. We're here to tell you, there are, and we're those dads. So to give you a breakdown of how our fantasy league is set up. So right now we're an 8-team league, which is pretty low, but to make it more competitive, as you know, a 10-team league or a 12-team league, basically we limit the number of roster moves you can do for the whole season. So we get 25 total roster moves you can do for the entire season. And once you hit that, you're pretty much shit out of luck. So it makes it more fun. It makes it more strategic because there'll be weeks where I'll just have to let it ride because I'm right at like 21 roster moves already used, and there's still like 2 weeks of the regular season left. So I'm like kind of riding it out. So trading and waiver wires is really trading more so. You really have to be on your P's and Q's with the trade market in our league to make moves if your original draft was not playing out for you.
Yeah, and I use every bit of those moves. You can't take them with you; they don't roll over. So I make sure to get my money's worth out of them. And man, I'm a 4-time champion, so I'm like I said, I'm a little disrespected by the F grade, but you know, we're gonna put our head down and work.
Yeah, Yahoo is not in the business of history. They're in the business of what have you done for me lately. Unfortunately,
they're gonna see.
They're gonna see. They're gonna take So yeah, fun draft though. The good thing about an 8-team league is that the draft goes by so quick. Like I think we were done like 40 minutes or something like that. So for those of you thinking of going to an 8-team league, it's not as competitive, but your draft day will go by a lot quicker.
I would almost argue it is as competitive because
everybody's got a stacked team.
Everybody's got pretty good players. I mean, last year, if I remember right, you and I were pretty high in the league, so we weren't too worried. But the cutoff to get in the playoffs, I mean, it was like pretty tight between like teams like 3 through 7 or whatever it was. Like, I mean, it was like every week mattered, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. Again, I know everybody loves fantasy talk, so
yeah. So all right, we'll wrap up there. So before we wrap up, actually, I just want to get your quick advice. While we're here, while we're talking about it,
you play me week 1, so careful on what advice you ask for.
Yeah. So this is my other league. So I'm in another league. It's a 12-team league that's drafting on Tuesday. It's a keeper league, so basically you get to keep anybody you draft from the 4th round later, and basically whatever round you got them last year is your round pick for this year. So I ended up keeping Raheem Mostert in the 10th round. I figured in a 12-team league, that's a pretty good value. And I ended up getting the first overall pick. So I'm happy for CMC, but now I got to wait like 24 picks before I get another pick. So,
dude, running backs are so limited though. And if it's a 12-team,
yeah, and some of the running backs are already taken. Like I know Isaiah Pacheco was somebody's keeper. Devon Achane was somebody's keeper. So like some of the good running backs are already going to be taken off the board by the time he gets to me. So
I mean, I would go with CMC because he's the best player available.
Yeah, I don't care that he's.
I mean, overall, yeah.
I'll take, even if he is hurt, like, and he misses week 1, I'll write it out for that.
And you have Raheem, so that means you're pretty much covered at running back for, I don't know how many y'all play, but then you could just focus on receivers the rest of the time because you can find more receivers than you can running backs.
Yeah, you're not gonna find many running backs. So
yeah,
I think Raheem. My only concern with Raheem Mostert is that with Achane coming back, he's gonna lose a lot of touches, but I feel like he's still gonna get goal line touches. And he's still gonna poach a lot of touchdowns. So hopefully that pays off, but we'll see. All right, I think that's enough for fantasy talk. I think people have gotten spent about some fantasy talk. So all right, let's go ahead and move into dad stories of the week. I know you mentioned that you went down to see the newest member of the Boyd family in Augusta.
Man.
How was your weekend?
We literally just got back a couple of hours ago. So I'm tired. Driving through Atlanta is never fun. Either way, no matter what time of day you go now, Atlanta's not fun. And then it was raining like the way back, so it was a long day in the car. But it's good. Like you said, Tyler, they had their 3rd baby, so he's got a newborn. So it was a lot of just hanging out, at the house, seeing them. They live about 4.5 hours away, so we don't get to see them a lot. But got to see them, and then it was his oldest birthday as well. It was her birthday party, so it was kind of a twofer, like have her birthday party and then meet the new baby. But we stayed there, man. It's a house full because it's my brother, his wife, his 3 kids now, and then you got me, Courtney, and then Haley and Lily and Savannah. So we had 10 people staying in that house. But it was fun. I mean, like I said, the kids don't see each other a ton, so it's no one really fights or anything. They just like play the whole time, but it's just rowdy and loud. And we got to watch a lot of football and just hang out. Got to see some other people because, like I said, it was a birthday party. So some of our other family members, like my parents and my grandma, drove down. And then some of her side of the family came in, and they had some friends over, so it was just chaos with kids party all day Saturday, watching football. I had football on multiple screens, so just a fun weekend. Just hung out, ate pizza.
I did see that you sent us some pictures while you were there, and I saw that Tyler did have a little mini slip inside set up. Did you take a gander on that? I see that you're okay.
No,
you're healthy.
No, I didn't get on it.
You learned from Eric's mistakes.
Yeah, I wasn't getting in on that. There's a slip. It was more of a little baby bounce house. I definitely would have deflated it getting in it. I think even like Lily probably might have been too old to be in it, but we're just letting her ride.
Let her ride, man.
Yeah, and they had a splash pad and there was bubbles. A lot of stuff to slip and fall on, but I didn't go down. I held it together. I knew I had to get back for the podcast.
Yeah. Again, we're just carrying the podcast on our back. Yep. Eric couldn't make it. He couldn't power through. So.
Oh, dude. One of the funny things that happened. I know I sent y'all a video. He got his kid one of those ride on Jeeps.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're so advanced nowadays. They have Bluetooth, so we hooking the phone up to it and playing rap music out of the little Jeep thing. But so he's going to surprise her with it during the birthday party. And so we took her and all the kids out on the front porch, and he was going to come out through the garage, and it's got the little remote control where you can drive it, so he was going to drive it out playing music. But then Lily took his 2-year-old out there, and he's like, "I'll put him in." And so we put Bronson in, and so they just all of a sudden the Jeep comes around in the front yard, and he's little 2-year-old's in it and is blasting 50 Cent music. Go shawty, it's your birthday.
Nice.
And then my brother's, you don't see my brother, but he's driving the Jeep, but it looks like the kid's driving the Jeep, and my mom thought he was driving the Jeep, and then he was going towards the road. It was going to take off, get him. Nice. No, Tyler's driving it.
Dude, those cars. So
it was pretty fast too.
Yeah. So those cars. So there's this mall here in Illinois in Oak Brook. It's kind of a fancier mall. There's more higher end stores there, and they have this store where they literally just sell those remote control cars, but they're all Mercedes, Lamborghinis, Ferraris.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on here? And they all have little built-in iPads in the car, and it's hand stitched leather. I'm like, who's your market here? I don't understand who your market is here, because I'm not buying this. I don't care for a Mercedes G-Wagon with leather seats and an iPad built in.
That's nicer than my real car.
Dude, seriously. I'm driving an 06 Toyota with 200,000 miles on it. Yeah, they found, the makers of those cars have found the market, because kids go crazy for those cars. When we went to that store, the worker had put Zoe in one of the Mercedes and was driving her around, and she was eating it all up. And I was like, Zoe, get your ass out of there. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because it's quiet in the store. There's no music playing or anything. It's just them trying to talk to you. Yeah, it's them trying to sell you the product as they're driving it around. I'm like, all right, I got to get out of here. This is stupid.
Yeah. They're fun though.
They are fun. Zoe has a Frozen one that she got as a gift a little while ago.
Yeah.
It's great until you forget to charge it and you're out driving it around. It dies.
That's when they want. Yeah, that's when they want to ride it, when it's not charged.
Yeah, that too. We had an instance where we were out pretty far from our house in the neighborhood, and it died. And I had
that's the worst. Good carrying it back,
and it's so heavy. It's not light.
They're awkward to carry too, because they're front heavy, wherever the battery is.
Yeah,
they're front heavy, and so it's just an awkward carry. Yeah, there's nothing easy to grab onto. The steering wheel's usually in the middle of it. It's banging your knee.
Yeah, and all the stuff, all the railings and stuff you can hold on to, they're just kind of stuck in there. So if you pull on it, they just pull right out. Yeah. So it's so I had Zoe help me push from the rear. Then we just kind of worked our way back.
It's a life lesson in case your car breaks down.
Exactly. Everybody's got to learn how to push a car at some point. Yeah. We've all been there.
Dude, speaking of other just annoying things, talking about putting stuff together. He yells, I can't remember someone got it for her. She got a tall dollhouse, a 3 or 4 story open face dollhouse, and so I helped him put it together. They were dying to get that out. So after everybody left that night, me and him started putting it together, and I realized after putting it together, it was one that I'd gotten Lily back when she was probably 3 or 4, and I was I put this freaking thing together before, and I was I remember it sucking then, and luckily there's 2 of us though to help hold pieces and put it together, but it just That's one of the. That's just one of the. I guess the parts of being a dad is putting all that stuff together and like just straining through it because all of it's like cheap little plastic parts that don't pop together just right. There's usually like a piece missing or something. You know, it's just
you gotta force it in sometimes.
Yeah, they're never easy to put together. So it's like, and you're like halfway looking at the instructions, like, just Google a picture of it, see what it looks like.
yeah. And I'm not handy by any means. Like I'm not handy at all. And like I'll follow directions, and usually I just don't have the patience, and I usually just rage quit halfway through. Which now being a dad, you can't really do that because you know, Christmas Eve at midnight, and you're trying to put stuff together. You can't really be like, "Well, Santa got tired, dude. I don't know what to tell you." You know? So
right.
But yeah, I feel like the kid stuff. I feel like it's not. I wouldn't say it's hard to put together. It's just so many little pieces, and so many little things that it just gets annoying.
Yeah,
but
no, they're definitely annoying
for sure. Nice. Any other fun things happen in Augusta this weekend for you?
No, like I said, there's just a lot of hanging out when you got the newborn. So not really going out doing a lot, and we were just there for the weekend. So and the birthday party is kind of a quick trip. So just hanging out, let the kids play, and watch some foosball.
Nice. Yeah, I have a couple kind of similar stories. So my mom's in town this week, visiting Zoya. She wanted to come for her actual birthday, but we're actually going to Disneyland next week, the day after her birthday. So like just come the weekend before, you know, hang out with her and whatnot. And my thing is more of, I guess, more of like a thing like we'll just do anything for our kids. Like we don't even ask questions. We just kind of do it. So like Zoya, we're having like a little get together for our actual birthday. Just like nothing crazy, just a couple people over, some of our cousins. And like we were just like we planned it a while ago because we're like it's an actual day of her birthday. So, you know, we'll just have something small, nothing too crazy. And then, you know, my mom's in town, so it's always like, well, I want her to be at my party too. And we're like, well, she's leaving before then. Like that's not gonna happen. So you know, this is trying to teach her a life lesson. Like you can't always get what you want, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, but why can't we just have another party this weekend? And you know, Priya was like, yeah, I guess we could just invite the same people over again. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Yeah. So we ended up getting like, we have like a little inflatable pool. We had like a splash pad. We had like one of those little rainbow things that like does like sprinkles and stuff. Like we set it all up in our backyard and had like water balloons and stuff. And they were all just kind of out there having fun and doing their thing and whatnot. And I'm like, I just had a realization, like, you know, like we'll just do whatever for the kids. We don't even care at this point. Like we don't even ask questions. Like we're just like, all right, they're all spoiled. If you want it. Yeah, they're all spoiled. Yeah. Dude, and then today, like, so my mom wanted to get her a birthday gift, and we were gonna get Zoya like a new bicycle because she's getting way too big for the one she has.
Right.
So we were like all like looking all over the place, and like the Walmarts and the Targets, they have like the princess ones, but like they don't feel very sturdy. I'm like, is this gonna just? Like, are we gonna need to buy another one in like 2 years? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I don't want to buy
who
one.
Put it together. Like, who put those together?
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't want to buy one and just have like in 2 years now I'm gonna have to buy another one. So I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and like they had one that was like the regular price is every other bicycle at like Walmart, Target, whatever. But then they had like a Schwinn, and like of course the Schwinn is like brighter in colors. It's like crazy looking, and of course, like, I want that one.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, I guess. So again, another thing, we just do what our kids want us to do at this point. we have no control. Like we're
so soft.
Yeah, dude, so soft, so soft. After having kids, dude, I just melt. Like I can't do anything. So, yeah. So she got a Schwinn bike now. That's like bright ass orange and yellow and red and. And now she's looking at like on Amazon to get like little bells and baskets. I'm like, oh, fine. Okay.
Lily's got here's something else you can add to cart. Lily's got the little lights that go on the wheels, so you can ride at night and it lights up. Looks like a scraper bike.
Hey, that's good for safety. Good safety protocol. Yeah, I like that. Fun. I don't mind that one. I'll do that one.
Yeah, they're fun.
Good safety. Yeah. The good thing is though is that Dick's Sporting Goods actually they put the bike together for you. So like we order it and like because the kids bike they don't have any kids bikes out. It's just all adult bikes out there.
Yeah.
So like it's like in the back basically. And they're like, all right, we'll just take this to the front, pay for it, and we'll call you whenever we get it put together. So like, we'll call you in the next couple of days when we get it together. Like, all right, cool. Less work for me to have to do.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Like, I just told you I'm not handy. You know, you want me to like put a freaking bicycle chain on, make sure it's nice and tight, and that thing's gonna fall apart on her halfway on her ride.
Yeah.
So we had that going, the whole realization of just we'll just do anything for our kids. So Another thing, I guess, I'm kind of stepping on your corner, being more on the more sentimental, serious dad stories of the week. So we had our meet and greet for Zoe's preschool last Wednesday, and like, we go there, we meet the teachers, meet some of the other kids. They had some fun activities planned for the kids while they were there to kind of get them acclimated. And they showed us kind of like where everything was, like her locker, her cubby, what to do, everything and all that. So, and that was like my biggest realization. I was like, shit, like where did the last like 5 years go?
Yeah.
Like where, like literally, like where did the last like half a decade go? Like we're at this point now. Like literally just remember, like I just feel like we just brought her back from the hospital like 2 years ago, like a year ago. And now
it's wild, man.
Yeah, here we are in preschool. So so time flies. For all those sleepy dads out there, time flies. Don't take
I know you hear it all the time. You're like, okay, yeah, but it's like, oh crap, it really does. Like,
yeah, dude, freaking Lily's 12. Like, know.
Yeah, I have a middle schooler.
Yeah, you have a middle schooler and a niece that's in high school. That's like crazy, dude.
Yeah, they're like little adults. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had for dad stories. So for the listeners, this episode's gonna be all over the place. We had a bunch of things planned that only really worked with 3 people. So we're just kind of
really screwed it up.
Yeah, Eric really screwed it. We had a draft plan. We had a little hot take segment planned. But we're just kind of winging it at this point, and me and Brandon might be all over the place. So just kind of bear with us here. This might be
if you're still listening. I'm sure we lost a lot of people with fantasy football, but if you are still listening, put in the comments # where's Eric, and maybe we'll get him on next week. Yeah, where's Eric? Oh, we should bring back the # where's the cash. Remember that? Yeah. So in college, I had the bookstore was giving out free T-shirts for returning your books, selling them back to the bookstore, because nobody ever did, because they gave you nothing for it, pretty much. So nobody ever returned it. So like, but the books, they gave a T-shirt that basically just said like, "Where's the cash?" So like, it was a free shirt, and I wore it like pretty much all the time. 6 years straight.
Yeah, for 6 years straight, just holes in it, frilled on the bottom.
Ratty.
So ratty. I got rid of it finally. But
initially, he'd be walking down the hallway just yelling, "Where's the cash?" Yeah. He'd have the shirt on.
Yeah. So anytime like one of us was not there, we'd always text each other to be like, # where's the cash? So yeah, put in the comments where's the cash, or where's Eric? #.
Or both.
Or both. Yeah. Let's just spam the hell out of Eric now. His phone number is text him directly. I'm sure he'll appreciate the comments as he's slowly dying in bed of sickness. So, all right. So I have a, before we get into, I know we want to touch a little bit on college football. Before we get into college football, there were a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. Just some things that came up in the news, or some things that I saw that were trending on TikTok or whatnot. So, first thing, kind of bring it back to our childhood, and I'm sure our kids' childhood so far. Yeah. Capri Sun has decided to redesign their packaging. They are now going to a full regular looking bottle, like a body armor bottle looking type thing. They're not doing the little pouches anymore. How do you feel about that? I feel like, yeah, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I saw on Instagram or something, and it was like new Capri Sun bottles. And you're right, it looked like a body armor bottle, and like the nostalgia part of me from being a kid, and like that's the only like little, when you think of those little pouch drinks, you think of Capri Sun. So like the nostalgia in me is like, that's the kind of stuff you write your congressman
dude
about, right? Like, I mean, that's something that needs to like stand for change. Like, we got to stand for something. But then Anish, the dad in me, says maybe we change them. You know what sucks is putting those little straws in that pouch. You know, often I squirt that stuff just everywhere, just spill it all in the kitchen, spraying the kids. Like, so part of me was kind of like, literally, like, first thought I was like, that sucks. And secondly, I was like, maybe not. Like, I was like, no more spilling everywhere. Then I spill half of it, I give it to the kid, then they squeeze it, and it just squirts out everywhere. So, maybe it's long overdue. I don't know. I flipped on myself within like 30 seconds of how I feel on the Capri Suns bottles.
Yeah, I agree. 10-year-old me is telling me that my childhood is dead. Yeah, that's what 10-year-old me is saying. almost 40-year-old me with the kid is telling me, thank God I don't have to rip a straw through the package for the 1,000th time and just ruining everybody's enjoyment in the moment. So yeah, I feel like the bottle is much cleaner. It's just safer. It's easily transportable. If they don't finish it all, guess what? Take it with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like you don't have to finish the whole thing.
Yeah,
throw it in the fridge. We can save it for later. You can't do that with
knock it over
pouch.
if you want. It's got a lid on it.
Yeah. Dude, it made me think like all the nostalgic drinks that we used to have as kids. Cause like I was walking around the grocery store the other day and I don't see any of them anymore. Like, do you remember I don't know if it's called this, but the Mondos, the ones where it was like the plastic bottles and you had to twist
the little twist top,
the twist cap off.
Dude, I used to chew on those so much. You know, I did. I used to chew on those little twist caps.
Why does that not surprise me, Brandon? Brandon is a serial chewer. He chews on straws, bottle caps,
toothpicks.
Toothpicks.
Yeah. Man, yeah, those things are awesome.
Yeah, they don't have any of those anymore, which I guess it makes sense. Those cap things are like choking.
They're dangerous.
Yeah, they're dangerous. They're dangerous.
PSA, you will choke on them.
Yeah, you will choke on them. Yeah, I say, write to your local politician. We need to bring back some of these old school drinks. Were they good for you? No, we know they're not great. They're full of sugar. It's just sugar water with food coloring.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's just sugar water with food coloring and squirts of like artificial flavoring. But hey, I just want to be nostalgic for a little bit. Just let me be nostalgic. Do a limited time release. I'd be okay with that.
Dude, you know what? Speaking of that, you like bringing back memories. But a lot of that stuff is like it just deserves to stay in like nostalgia space. Like, I remember like being at the ball fields and like my favorite thing was like get like Fun Dip or like Big League Chew. Both of those not good at all if you try them as an adult. One of the kids or somebody had Fun Dip and I was like, oh, I used to love this. And I went to try and I about threw up, like, because it is just a sugar stick and then you put sugar back on top of it and then you eat it and your mouth just like explodes with like what the heck is going on, you know?
Yeah, Zoe just discovered Fun Dip and she has been loving it, dude. Like loving it.
Yeah, kids love it.
Yeah, and she just discovered bubblegum. So it's funny you bring up Big League Chew because I had it recently and it's not like the flavor's not bad. It's just the flavor lasts for like 2
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like you're chewing on rubber, like literally rubber. And then your jaw's like hurting. It's just not a great experience all around. That's bubblegum in general, I feel like, though. Like all bubblegum is like that.
Yeah. But especially that like stuff targeted towards kids, it doesn't last at all.
Yeah. And Big League Chew, especially because they don't like, you're in control of how much you take. So
dude, we'd be putting like
just like big old chunks of
lippers in.
Yeah. Looking like baseball players out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great marketing, just trying to get kids to get into dip.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I have Zoya do or try, it's just all based on my nostalgia and my memories of it. And I feel like that's almost a little bit unfair to Zoya because like I'm kind of forcing my my life on her, which hey, so, you know, we all just want to kind of live vicariously through our kids sometimes, right? Like relive our childhood, right? A little bit.
I remember when Lily was little and I threw on some old school like Ninja Turtles because that's what I loved growing up. And she was like real little and I threw it on and it was like pretty violent. And I was like, man, maybe this isn't great for her.
Yeah.
But it seems like nowadays, like most of the stuff is just, they might watch some of it, but it's just not like, it doesn't hold their attention. Like some of the newer stuff it does, but
yeah, Zoe, I try to get Zoe into some of my shows when I watch younger, but like I would screen them beforehand just to kind of see.
I did not.
Again, kind of like last week, we were talking about like what's appropriate for our kid. Usually I don't care. Like honestly, usually I don't care if it's in the kids section. I'll let it ride. I know there's I'll just let it ride, dude. I don't give a shit. But dude, some of the stuff you're like, how was this made? Like how was this made, dude? Like I was watching How I Met Your Mother recently. And like, dude, some of the jokes they make in there, I'm like, dude, I don't know how this ever made it
last today.
Yeah, I don't know how this ever made it. And that's like a CBS show. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how this made it on TV. But I think that's just us being so desensitized to today's world.
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay, so let's go to move on to oh no, well, I had one more viral thing that I wanted to mention that I saw on TikTok.
Sorry, we derailed.
Yeah. This is what happens. This is what happens when it's just two of us and we're just like talking like we're on the phone together.
Yeah.
So I saw this TikTok, Instagram reel, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how old it was because it already had like a shit ton of likes and reposts or whatever. But it was basically some guy saying, talking about kids and how, TV culture and iPad culture and all that. And like, he was like, it's okay to let your kids be bored sometimes. And he went on this whole big rant, like, have them go outside, have them do this, have them do yada, yada, yada. And like, I looked at the comments, I was like, I want to see what people are saying about this. Cause yeah, I kind of agree with him. It's okay to let your kids be bored. But then everybody in the comments was like, spoken like someone who doesn't have a kid. Like,
Anish, I had that exact thought today as I was driving back that long drive back and going through Atlanta. It's just awful, bad weather. I looked in the rearview mirror at one point, and the kids are like on tablets or phones or whatever, messing around. I was like, God, and they're just on their phone. But then I was just thinking, I was like, how much worse would this drive be if they didn't have that entertainment and we're just like, are we there yet? Like, oh, I got to stop. Like, it's this rain. Like, it's raining. It's like, like, well, maybe I'm kind of. Sometimes you need it. Sometimes you need the distraction for them.
No, it's okay to not let them be bored sometimes. It's all about the scenario. Like, and my thing is I don't care if she does it like when she's by herself. Yeah, it gets annoying because sometimes she doesn't listen to us and she's just in her own little world. As long as she's not like that when there's like people over at the house or there's other kids there and she's just kind of a loner. Like, if it gets to that point, then I can see it being an issue. But when there's other kids over, she's playing. Like, they don't even think about the iPad. They don't think about the TV. Like, honestly, it's most of the times it's us saying, "Hey, you want to watch something?" So you quiet the hell down for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Man, I mean, like, some of that stuff was a lifesaver during COVID, like the height of the pandemic when you're working. Which, I mean, I guess I still work from home, but like when we're all home, like kids are home from school, and you're trying to work, trying to figure stuff out, and they're running around going crazy. Like, it sucks, like you said, but I mean, it's sometimes you just need it sometimes.
Yeah, dude, I can't imagine how much of a pain in the ass we were as kids. Like when we were on road trips, because we went on a lot of road trips. Like we would drive everywhere. We had nothing, dude. Like we eventually had like a Game Boy. Even the Game Boy, it's like when it's dark out, you can't see shit. Yeah. So it's like you have like a limited amount of time to use it. So I can't imagine how much of a pain in the ass we were. Maybe we were just, I don't know. Maybe we were just scared of our parents back then, and our kids are not. I think that's the real issue. So, all right. So that's all I had. So all right, let's go ahead and move into college football talk. I know you had a little rant you want to go on, a little segment you want to go on talking about college football. So I'll let you.
I literally wrote this down about 5 minutes before we started because I figured we'd talk about some football, and I was like, well, why don't we start a new segment? I don't know if it'll last, but football's coming up. We normally do this pods. We shoot for Sunday nights typically, so it'll be post football. So we'll hit a couple little things. I figured this would be a good little thing to add. We'll see if it sticks. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But this is going to be the boom roasted football update of the week. So Vandy got their first win today or for the season in overtime and had their first sellout since 2017. Too bad half the stadium is under construction. Boom roasted. Bama took care of business against Western Kentucky, winning 63-0. Congrats, you found someone with less teeth than you to beat up on. Boom roasted. Let's see. Michigan looked less like the defending champs and more like they were looking for Connor Stallions in the stands somewhere. Boom roasted. And that's your boom roasted segment of the week.
Nice. Nice. So to be fair, I did not hear any of those pre-hand. So I was dying. Those were hilarious.
You're probably a little scared too. Like, what is he about to say?
I was worried. I was a little worried. I was like, I feel like I'm going to catch it straight here. I thought Eric was definitely going to catch it straight here. But that was good. We'll definitely have to try to keep that running. Just like our fake ad read of the week. In quotations. We'll have to make boom roasted a segment.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you liked it or not, especially you Michigan fans.
Yeah. So before people just end the episode here with college football, for those who don't really care about college football, but I figure most of our audiences are sleepy dads, so they probably do care about football in general. So we'll tie it back to being a sleepy dad podcast and being kids, having kids. When is it okay to put your fandom misery on your kids?
From the beginning.
From the beginning, right?
You're putting them in onesies.
Yeah.
They're stuck.
Yeah,
Like we're Tennessee sports losers.
Yeah,
they're gonna be our kids are gonna be. You live in Chicago, you're still a Tennessee sport loser.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we do a lot of losing.
We do a lot of
not
losing.
this year. It's our year.
Hey, Nico
across the board,
dude. All across the board,
all sports.
Yeah, yeah. We got Will Levis in the cream team.
I bought before we jump in. I bought my nephew. It was was his first. I guess last year was his first birthday. I got him a Derrick Henry jersey. Derrick Henry left like 2 months later.
Yeah,
but he still got it. So yeah, you force it on them. Like whether they like it or not, they can make their own choices later on. But here until they're older, whatever, they're stuck with what I like.
Yeah, until they move out of my house, you will be fans of my teams.
Yeah,
and you will watch in misery with me. I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, I was watching Tennessee versus Florida, and Zoya was just playing around, and I'm like, "Come here, Zoya. It's time for you to experience what being a loser is like, what pain feels like, what real unadulterated just misery watching football feels like." And of course, we got blown out. So everything tracked.
Yeah,
it was great. But yeah, hey, like you said though, this is our year. Everything's turning around. The Predators signed a bunch of awesome players. They look started. The Titans got a lot of hype rolling it. Everybody's counting the Titans out, but they've got a lot of hype behind them.
I feel like the Titans are they're kind of like me. I got an F grade from Yahoo. I feel like everyone is giving the Titans an F grade for the offseason, but maybe that's just us being delusional. But I'm like, man, 100%. I feel like they were awesome this off. I felt like they did made great moves this offseason. So,
dude, again, PSA, let Rand cook. Let him cook.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
And then the Volunteers, man, I know they played your Chattanooga Mocs, but man, they look good. Nico looked awesome.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
Like he looked
they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, they did what they were supposed to do, man.
Yeah, they looked awesome. Set the record for most passing yards and a half. I think it was.
Yep.
For at Tennessee, anyway.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for the season. It's gonna be fun.
And not as exciting as that game, but Tennessee Tech, our alma mater, took on MTSU. There was a lot of in-state battles this weekend. But I saw at one point they were down 21-0, but they came back and they almost won. They went up 25-24 at one point, like in the fourth quarter, like towards the end. But then MTSU ended up sneaking it out at the very end. But that would have been awesome because I don't think they've ever beat an FCS opponent.
Yeah.
And my little cousin plays for Tech, so that's kind of cool. Would have been cool for them, but man, it would have been cool to see though, because especially they're rolling to Georgia next week. So yeah, I hate for them to have to take down UGA at home in front of all those kids, but that's just what it's going to have to be.
That's
revenge.
What's going to have to
be a revenge game next week after getting put down this week.
Yeah,
they're going to be on it next week.
They're going to really show up and play against Georgia.
Yeah,
I feel it.
I think so.
Yeah. So, what are your other thoughts on this on the first college football Saturday of the year? Anything you notice? Anything you like? Any teams that you feel good about? Don't feel good about?
Well, I mean, it was most week ones, a lot of cupcakes. Texas, Miami looked awesome. Miami looked good. Ole Miss looked good. The ones that are supposed to be good looked great. Probably didn't really find out much this week, honestly. Did you see Alabama, that the 17-year-old kid? They have a 17-year-old receiver. He reclassified. So he's still supposed to be in high school, but I guess there's no rules in college football anymore. I don't know. You can do it. I don't know. I don't understand. But somehow he got to reclassify. And so he's at Alabama. He caught 2 touchdowns in the first half. 17 years old, like 2 tutties, 17. Can't even vote. Can't even buy a lottery ticket. He's out there catching touchdowns.
Dude. For Alabama. Not even for like
not even like a bad team, like SEC. He's in the SEC, just showing out. So again, they played Western Kentucky, but still, still got to do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think like you said, first week is a lot of just getting your bearings, getting your feet wet, figure out how your team's looking. I will say, Oregon kind of scared me a little bit. Because they were that game was close, like all the way until the fourth, and they didn't really even when they like kind of took control, it's not like they were like the game was won already. Like the other team could have still came back and won. So I don't know. They were probably the only team that I was worried about. But again,
it's week one. People are figuring stuff out. It's like, I mean, even Georgia, they started out slow against Clemson, but it was like not playing at their stadium, and they ended up taking care of them. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's like I said, we'll find out more next week or so where everybody stands.
Yeah, I'm just glad football's back.
Football's back.
I'm so happy. We are already mid form with betting as well. Now that Eric's not here, we can really talk about what we want to talk about. So for those that don't know, myself and Brandon may or may not have a gambling problem. To be determined. It's us and Sean Steezy, our good friend that we've mentioned many times on this podcast. So we all bet together. Eric does not partake. I'm happy for him. I'm jealous of him that he doesn't lose his money on a weekly basis. but we've already made some preseason bets. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I feel like this is going to be our year to turn things around. Okay, I got it. We got to set up. Look, we got to set up the college fund for the kids, man. This is how we do it. one bet at a time.
Yeah. Got a mixed portfolio.
Exactly, mixed portfolio. Look, my 401k can only do so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
gotta give me some plus 10,000 parlays.
You only need one to hit.
You only need one, man. All it takes is one. Dude.
All it takes is one.
All it takes is one, man. And that's why we're addicts. Because all it takes is one.
All it takes is one.
Yeah. Dude, one of my friends, I won't say his name because he listens to this podcast, but he knows who he is. So he's like me. He bets, like he's like us. He bets, but he bets on everything. Like he does baseball.
Yeah.
He had like a parlay of like players to hit like I think it was like 1 home run or like 2 home runs each. And like half of them had hit. Like the first half of the games all hit. Yeah. And he had like a cash out for like he put like $2 in, and like the cash out was like almost 200.
Yeah.
But the payout if he won was like 10 grand.
Yeah.
So he was like, again, he asked me what he should do. I was like, dude, I would cash out. I would just cash out. Yeah. If you only put $2 in, you're gonna come out with 200. Just take it.
Yeah.
Just cash out. He's like, 200 is not 10,000. And I was like, also true.
Good point.
Yeah. Hashtag all it takes is one.
Yep.
All it takes is one. So
where's the cash?
Where's the cash? Yeah. Man, I wish I didn't throw that shirt away. I would wear it every episode.
It'd probably be disintegrated by now if you it couldn't go through a washing machine cycle.
Nah. Yeah. It probably doesn't even say where's the cash. It's probably just all faded out, just gray.
Just a faded white shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Holes in it.
Exactly. So yeah, so he's definitely mid-season form for betting. We're starting to ramp up our betting form for the year. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good season. And we'll see where it takes us. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
I'm excited for Titans. Next week we'll have some Titans talk.
Yeah. This is the best time of the year. Everything's ramping up. Football's ramping up.
We still have hope.
We still have hope. Yeah.
There's still hope.
September is the month for hope.
I saw a tweet. I think I probably sent it to you. It said, this time next week we'll know if the Titans are going to have the first pick in the draft or if we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Exactly. Speaking of the Titans, did you watch the I don't think we've talked about it since we originally talked about it, but the Steve McNair doc? Did you end up watching it?
I did watch it. I liked it. It was well done. Good. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like I learned anything new, but maybe that's because we're such fans. We kind of know. Yeah. Like, I guess for like the average person, it was good for them to understand and hear, like, see the story. But I don't think I learned anything new, but it was cool, like seeing Jeff Fisher on there, like telling stories and stuff. So and see some old highlights, bring back some memories.
Yeah, I had 2 takeaways of it. First of all, sometimes you forget how awesome Steve McNair was.
Yeah,
like sick. He was so good, dude. Like he was legit like an elite quarterback. Like we just could never win. We just couldn't win for some reason. But he was so good. And the second thing I learned, I think, is that I feel like when people make these documentaries, I feel like they're just trying to find new angles for everything, right? Like they brought in that guy who, like, they kind of like they tried to pin it towards the end of it. They kind of tried to pin on that one guy, right? Yeah. And I was like, well, this was never even a story when the first thing came out. So why is this like a story now? You know what I mean? But I get it. Like you gotta find any sort of twist to make a documentary interesting, especially a documentary of a story that sports fans already know. Like most sports fans already kind of know the story. So I get it. You got to find new twists and to make it interesting, but overall, I enjoyed it. It was really good. And also another takeaway. I had 3 takeaways. Jeff Fisher just seems like a cool ass dude.
Oh man, he'd be awesome.
Like, he just seems like a cool hang, dude.
Yeah, he'd be fun to hang out with.
Yeah, maybe not the coach to get you a Super Bowl win.
8-8,
although
baby.
He was close. 8-8. But what's funny is that we say 8-8 now, but dude, the first like 6-7 years of his career, he was like winning 10 plus games every year.
Yeah,
like he was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Steve McNair documentary was good. I did see another documentary. Now with documentaries, I will say, especially after having kids, I've gotten like soft as baby shit, as we've already described earlier in this podcast. So it's very hard, like, for me to watch documentaries, especially when it deals with like kids.
Yeah.
So I saw this one. It's called Taken Together. It's like an HBO Max documentary, but it's about these like 2 young girls that were like literally like abducted and like murdered, dude. It was very, sorry, I went really dark here. I should have done a spoiler alert. Rewind, PSA, spoiler alert. Now we're here. So but yeah, it was like, dude, it was like a tough watch, but it was like in one of those towns in Idaho that like everybody just left their doors unlocked, and like they just let their kids like go out on the bike by themselves, and like, dude, there was like a 10-year-old and like a 8-year-old. Like, they were so young, dude. It wasn't that long ago. It was like 2012. Like, it's not like it was even like that long ago.
Yeah,
like I feel like in 2012, man. I feel like at that point I'd be like, hey, you're probably not gonna go by yourself, like on a bike ride, especially that age.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, documentaries like that, or anything, even like news stuff, or like, dude, even like TV shows and movies, dude. Anything that has to do with like kids getting like killed or abducted, it's like, dude,
yeah,
it's too much. It's sad. It's very sad. Spoiler alert, if you didn't know.
Turns out it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Turns out it's a real bummer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I had, man. Look at that. We went 46 minutes. Just you and me. Just you and me holding it down. Just hanging out. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else jog your memory while we were talking here? Anything you want to bring up to our fine listeners?
Yeah. Since Eric isn't here and he can't make fun of me. There's a CrossFit documentary that you need to watch. No, seriously, I know you guys watch they used to do after the games, they'd always do like a games documentary.
We watch these things, Brandon.
I know you watched them.
We give you shit, but we watch this.
But like, I can't remember what year it was, but CrossFit fired all their media team. But 2 of the guys started their own like YouTube thing, and so they still do like their own. It's not to that Netflix level anymore, but it's still like really good on YouTube. But the Buttery Bros, they always do a post games like doc, and this year's really good. It's it's tagging onto your sad stuff. That's what made me think of it. Due to Lazar like drowning this year, it's kind of a sad documentary, but it does tell kind of the story of the games and everything went down, kind of how people were, and you get some interviews behind the scenes and stuff. So it's a good one.
Nice.
And like I said, those guys are awesome what they do, like, you know, making videos and stuff. So it's very well done.
Nice. You know how to get me. When Eric's not here, you and me, like, if you give me a recommendation, I'm going to watch it.
You and me jive on the same, like, TVs, movies. Like, sometimes we got to pull Eric along. He's very abrasive when you try to get him to watch something new. But he eventually comes around. But you and me, that we usually like the same kind of stuff, like TVs and movies.
Yeah. And to give the listeners an idea, me and Brandon like everything. There isn't much that we don't like. Speaking of which, Yellowstone is finally coming back.
Jeez, man, I don't think I finished the last season they had.
So the last season was like a half season. Like, they did like, I think like maybe 5 or 6 episodes, and then they're gonna take a break. But then it was like 2 years, and then no word. And finally, I recently saw a commercial for it. I think it's coming back in like November or something. So, but this is the last season. It looks good. Like, I know season 4 was really bad.
I didn't care for it. Yeah. And it's like the same story. It was like, they're coming to take this land. We gotta protect it. 4 years in a row.
Kevin Costner is really getting pigeonholed in those type of roles, I think, because he just came out with that new movie too. That's similar.
What is it?
It's like a 2-part movie, but it's similar. It's like people taking land that doesn't belong to them, and like it's like similar stuff. It's like old cowboy and Indians type vibe.
I don't know if I saw that one. But did you ever watch? I can't remember if we I can't remember if we talked about it or not. 1883. Did you ever watch that one?
So you told me about it.
That's worth. Yeah, that's like a prequel, but I mean, honestly, anybody is set so far ahead. I don't think you really have to. You don't really. It doesn't have anything to do with Yellowstone,
It's probably just the names.
It doesn't have anything to do with the current cast, like 'cause it's so far ahead. But it's got like Tim McGraw in it. But it's awesome. It's really, really good. I mean, that one's like it's like them, like it's almost like Oregon Trail style, like them trying to get to Oregon essentially. But it's it had that feel of like just fighting Indians, fighting sickness, like broken saddle, wagon wheels and stuff, trying to cross a river, like little stuff, like. But it's just like high drama on the plains.
Nice.
So it had a good Red Dead feel to it as well. So
nice.
Took me back to Arthur Morgan.
Yeah, you mentioned Red Dead. You mentioned Oregon Trail. I'm sold. Yeah. Enough said.
It's good, and it's only one season. It's really good though.
Nice. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
The Taylor Sheridan verse, as they like to call it.
I like him. Yeah.
It's usually pretty good. I started watching Mayor of Kingstown.
I haven't watched that one yet.
With Jeremy Renner. I saw the first 2 seasons. Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad. And obviously all the Yellowstone stuff. 1883. He usually does a pretty good job. So I'll give anything he does a shot. Cool. Well, all right, man. I guess we can wrap it up there. Quick PSA for next week. I'm traveling out of town. I don't know if Brandon and Eric want to take the reins on producing the episode while I'm gone.
Spoiler, will not.
Spoiler, they will not. So we're working on figuring out schedule to try to record earlier so we can still get an episode out next week. But just in case if we don't, there will be no new episode next week, but we'll be back the following week. Hopefully I'll have plenty of Disney stories that we can talk about. I'm sure you guys have been Disney plenty enough, so we can all kind of, commiserate.
Definitely, I'm giving you a homework assignment. Eric and I talked. I think we talked about it on this podcast actually. The 3 seconds in someone else's life as you're walking past someone having a crappy day. Try to catch some of those, because there will be some. Try to catch some. Try to catch some good people watching stories. I love hearing those.
Yeah, so when we went a couple years ago with Eric and Katie in Orlando, and dude, those were every other step.
Yeah.
There's like, people
you're going to California.
Yeah, we're going to California. So I don't know if the vibe is going to be just a lot more mellow.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Report back.
Yeah, I'll report back. It won't be as hot, thank God. It won't be as humid. So that'll be a plus.
That definitely plays into the misery.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think that causes like 90% of the meltdowns all around, dude. Is the heat.
Kids, parents,
hot weather, swamp ass. Just all a potion of disaster.
Right.
So we'll try to get an episode out next week. If we don't, bear with us. We'll be back the following week. So next time, we'll see you guys then.